Hey guys, it's CMM and call me King, and I am here for the CMM Season 2 in the Mudkip Division. I know it's gonna be a little weird because I uploaded, I think, the first 2 weeks on the last season I was in, and I kind of stopped. It's an annoying process to kind of say, but basically the files got corrupted, and it was just a lot of mix-max, and long story short, I fixed the files, but now it's season 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload season 2, and then after season 2 ends, I will try to upload season 1 after I now know how to fix the corruption issues. So if somehow any more corruptions happen, I know how to fix them this time around. And let's hope not. It was just really bad luck, by the way. Like, there was no, like, I got corrupted issues for anything else. It was just for this, so it was really bad luck. But anyways, we're here for season 2, and we are fighting a bunch of well-known players, a bunch of good players, a bunch of familiar players, and of course, I want to come back and see if I can win. For a little context in the kind of the timeline, as I'll be uploading every randomly, currently I am a 3 times champ. So if I can win this league, I will become a 4 times champ. Which would be very cool. It would be very, very cool if I can achieve that. So that would be really nice if we can try to achieve that. But I don't know, there's some really good players this time around. And then, of course, the person who took me out of last season, spoiler, who got also 3 critical hit hydro pumps and hit all of them in a row, who, if you're watching this, I'm still mad about that. If I see you in IRL, we're fighting. Anyways, this time around, I definitely wanted to go for a more, I would say, comfortable approach with my team building, as I have now officially built with every single Mon from 20 points to 11, besides 2 Mons, which is Iron Bundle, and Zamazenta, which Zamazenta is usually never allowed, so that's why. Anyways, let's get into what we drafted, but first I should also say some of the rules. We get 120 points to draft, I think, a maximum of 12 Mons, however, you can draft a minimum of 9. And it's the same Terra rules as last rules, with 20 Terra points. Mon 13 and below can Terra into 3 types. One has to be one of the primaries, and the other 2 can be anything. However, it is now Terra preview this time around, so now we will know going into the match what Terra types we're going to be fighting against. With that being said, I did build around my Terramon just like I did last season. This time around, I won't get Hoopa, sadly, as people have now noticed the power of it, so I went with more of a comfortable approach, a Mon that I really like in draft. Good old Golden Go. Golden Go's really great in draft. I think Golden Go honestly can be slept on sometimes just because there's so much overwhelming power at times, but this Mon's pretty amazing. The Steel Ghost type is amazing. Its ability, pure as gold or good as gold, makes it immune to all the status conditions. Anything that also stuff like, I mean, this doesn't come into play, but Helping Hand, any moves like that, Taunt, all that. But most importantly, it stops Defog and Haze. So if we go for Nasty Plots, we can just keep it going. And if they go for Defog, they physically can if we swap this in. This is the best hazard blocker, as it's a ghost type, of course, that block the rapid spinners, and we can simply just stop Defog by just switching into this. So there's only 2 Mons in the entire meta, really, that like to click that hazard removal buttons. Well, when I have a Golden Go, which is Great Tusk, of course, for obvious reasons, and Talonflame, for obvious reasons. But that still doesn't stop the fact this Mon is incredible. Like, I think the best way to put it is look at those stats. Those stats are very min-maxy, and most importantly, those stats are really good. This Mon, in every single meta it has been, ran every single possible way. It can run Scarf because it has a great speed tier. It's naturally fast for being a Mon that's really bulky. Especially with that high special attack stat. Of course, that special attack stat, nothing to cough over, especially with its signature ability, move. Make It Rain, which is a 120 base power steel move that lowers your special attack by 1. This Mon can become a nuke very easily. However, it still doesn't stop the fact that looking at the HP and defense and SPDF stats, there are a lot of I would say players that run Golden Go very defensively in Draft League, because this defensive stat and SPDF stat is so nice, and it gets for cover and Thunder Wave. So just being able to just completely spam Thunder Wave, do Hex if we want massive damage with Make It Rain, and or just have great coverage with like Thunderbolt and whatever, but also just spam the cover to just get all that HP back is really good on a Mon like this. Yet again, we still just gotta talk about the offensive side of this Mon. This Mon hits like a truck, and this Mon has debatably some of the best Terra stab you could have, not Terra, but typing stab. Steel Ghost is really great. There's not really much that I want to switch it on both. Very, very little in the entire format. And also, just yet again, this mon is really good as a core mon. I could build around this mon in so many possible ways. All I need is just get a rocket, and that's basically a core in a way. I mean, definitely not, but, you know, this mon makes hazard stacking really good as well. So this mon also makes my opponent really pretty much, even though this mon itself doesn't care about the heavy duty boots, it does make my opponent want to click a lot of heavy duty boots as items, as there's just a chance I could hazard stack, and they physically can't stop it with this mon, which is one of my most favorite things. It just, item priority is really nice, so being able to just kind of force them sometimes is really good into some matchups. Anyways, this next mon I went with, I'm actually a little shocked that it was still around. Usually it's a round 1 pick. However, I can also get why. There's a lot of power. This season has all the power you can probably think of. There's almost anything not banned, so. But I was able to get Latios. Oh, Latios is gone. Okay, goodbye, Latios. Well, no Latios on this skin, I guess. He just disappeared. I guess he's flying away. Anyways, there was a Latios. Just picture it there. Latios is a dragon psychic type with levitate, so now we have that ground immunity, which is really good for Golden Go, as Golden Go actually really doesn't mind taking fire attacks. Yet again, that defensive and Spadef stat can really help him take those attacks. And then yet again, Latios is a monster. Latios is just like Golden Go, where it has that base 130 special attack, it's getting nukes, and with its buff in this gen, where Luster Purge now is an 80 base power, or 90, sorry, with a 50% chance to drop its special attack user, makes this mon quite literally unswitchable if you're not a dark type. There is very, very little, even a lot of steel types that don't like to switch in on this, let alone on a boosting item. And yet again, his stabs are so absolutely amazing in this meta that Soul Dew is a very good possibility, and of course that's not banned, so that's really nice. However, that 110 speed stat is amazing. We already beat that 100 base speed curve already, which is so good. And yet again, this kind of also forces opponents to run Scarf if they need to. But another thing I love about this mon is that it got Flip Turn in this generation. So now we have momentum with this mon, and momentum with Golden Go is always nice. But of course, that 110 Spadef, just like Golden Go, can be ran very Spadef if we need to. So we can be a bulky Latios if we need to. And if you have watched some past videos and some past drafts I've been in, you guys know how well I am with Latios and running very nice EV sets to make sure this mon hits as hard, but also takes all the hits it needs to. I really love this mon, and yet again, this mon is definitely one of my favorite mons to use in draft. It's just very versatile, and it's very uncheckable in most occasions. Very, very little to check it. However, of course, there's a big weakness right now. There is a big ghost weakness right now. We have both our mons are weak to ghost, so we don't like taking ghost, which is ghost stab is really popular in Gen 9, and also we hate dark. Now, I'm not going to fully stop the dark weakness currently with my next pick, but I can very heavily stop the ghost weakness with probably the best mon to take ghost hits. Oh, well, there's Latios. Okay, he wanted to say hello for a second. See, he's back on his fly. Ursaluna. Ursaluna is, I would probably say, my most favorite draft mon to use. I think this is, yeah, easily my most favorite draft mon to use. And this is also a comfort pick for me. There's definitely, if you've ever played the Gen 9 format, you probably have seen this monster in either draft or just on the ladder. This mon is really the definition of a monster. Not great speed tier, bad special attack, which is fine. Look at that attack stat with base 140. And then it has 80 Spadef, which AV sets are really good in draft, and not even just in draft, but just in general in this mon, as this mon's coverage is insane. You think of a typing and he probably gets it. I think the only coverage he doesn't get, I believe, is Ghost, if I believe. I believe he gets everything else, except, I think, Bug and Fire. I think that may be it, not Fire, Water. I think those three are the only ones. I think he gets stuff like Zen Headbutt, which is really crazy, so this mon gets a lot of coverage, which is nice. But one thing that's also really, really good is his ability Guts. So now imagine a base 140 mon that can now double that attack stat. So this mon, if we feel like it, quite literally can become uncheckable. This mon, just like its brother Blood Moon, really does have zero switch-ins. It's almost uncheckable, and if you are the Guts variant, and a lot of non-Guts variants are still uncheckable. However, The Guts variant kind of just ensures that you're basically grabbing a kill with this Mon. Not to mention, Hazard Stacks makes this Mon look really nice, as it always is a lot of Mons that try to do some Bailey shenanigans with this guy, or Rocky Helmet shenanigans. So just trying to get hazards with this guy is really nice. But also, we should also talk about his other abilities, which I don't have on screen because they're definitely not as massive as Guts, because a lot of people like to do Toxic Spikes, which now if they want to do that, go ahead, give me that 2x attack boost and let me get a couple kills. Or if they want to go for Will-O-Wisp, yet again, go ahead, all you do is just give me a 50% attack boost. So that's why I love this Mon a lot, and we also just really deterring these Toxic Spikes and status conditions, because both Golden Go can't be affected by them, and Ursaluna loves them. And Latios doesn't really care about most of them, and yet again, Toxic Spikes, Latios flies, Ursaluna likes them, and then Golden Go is immune to them. So far our team really does not care about these hazards and status. And then yet again, other two abilities you get is Soundproof and Bulletproof. This Mon actually becomes the best Spectre check, as it only could really go for, it can't go for Shadow Ball, and I think it gets Focus Blast, unless they lost it. I think I might have lost it actually in this generation. But this Mon could sit in front of a +6, what's his name? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Spectre pretty easily. It's not really that hard for this Mon. And yet again, this Mon gets great coverage. The only thing this Mon doesn't really have that would really make this Mon completely busted is Knockoff. If this Mon had Knockoff, I think it'd be over. Maybe it does get Knockoff. Maybe I'm lying to you guys. I don't think it does though. But yeah, this Mon is a monster, and yet again, just the base 105 and 130 HP stat for the defense is so monstrous that it needs no defense investment to be a physical wall. So it can really also just be the AV max HP variant with max attack, and it probably can wall both physical mons and special mons and still hit incredibly hard, which is one of my most favorite things about this Mon. But another reason why I love this Mon is that items of this Mon is so good. Like any item, in fact, I love this. There's a lot of items that are really fun with this Mon, and I've still been messing around with them, just on like the ladder and other drafts. But I'm very excited that I can use them again, because I love this bear. Anyways, let's talk about the Terra Captain and the Mon that I built my whole team around, Big TERRAKION. Yes, you heard it right, this Mon is allowed to Terra. Of course it's only 3 Terra types, but that still doesn't stop the fact. Also, does I Dark Resist? So I don't have the ability on screen because it's not really gonna come to play really often, if maybe at all. But the ability is justified, and that means if we get hit by a dark move, we get +1 attack. This just makes dark moves with a TERRAKION on my team incredibly scary to click. Yes, I have a Latios. Yes, I have a Golden Go. But if you click those and I switch into this, take that by like 5% damage and get a +1 attack boost, can very well be almost game. Because that 129 base attack stat does not mess around. But this Mon also gets, debatably, I would probably say the best offensive typing, Rock Fighting. Rock Stab is just really nice. I wish there was a good way to make Rock hit accuracy, which I could have with Terra Blast. However, I went with Terra Fighting, Fire, and Fairy. I know some weird typings. Usually the stuff like Dragon, or even both Double Stab, Rock Fighting. However, I like the Fairy to just completely stop Will-O-Wisp. That just felt really nice to me. It's just the fact that I can kind of set up or just be a Scarf variant and never worry about this. But yet again, Fire is just a really nice typing to have offensively. Yet again, with the Rock Stab, with the Fighting Stab, and with the Fire Stab. And of course, we get Earthquake and all this stuff. We get Iron Head, so we already beat those Fairy types. This Mon kind of walls a lot of things. There's really a tiny amount of Mons that can wall this. And then again, Fairy is just because it's an amazing defensive typing, but also offensive typing. There's not, yet again, not a lot, and the Mons that now want to switch it on a Fairy type are Mons that get killed by Earthquake and Rock Slide and all this stuff, so we very much like the Terra Fairy. And then yet again, Close Combat Stab is the main reason why I didn't go for Terra Rock, or yeah, Terra Rock. Terra Rock I think might be overall better here maybe. Just the 80 base power consistency move is really nice here. However, Close Combat with Terra Fighting, no booster item, does like 60% to like a max defense core overnight. This Mon is not a switch. If I have Terra Fighting, it's not switchable. You cannot switch in on this Mon. Let alone stuff like Scarf, just making it able to clean up, and also just I could be an SD variant and very well win the game on the spot. And that's why I like this one the most, of just the Terra fighting of, yeah, you could have a fairy type that could technically wall a Terra fighting set, but if I'm an SD variant, you're not taking it, let alone the Iron Head. That's another reason why I like it. We both can take the fighting resist, which is going to be flying, steel, and poison, and also bug, I guess you could say, which rock deletes 2 of those, earthquake deletes the other 2, and fairy, we can simply just click Iron Head. So it is a mon that can pretty much have a perfect moveset and not really have any trouble, and that's why I loved it. And yet again, just being able to Terra this mon is crazy. This mon has been ran very defensively in Gen 9, mainly for just the reason of the stats are insane. Very great min-max stats. Past that 100 base speed threshold, so we already outspeed all those mons, which is amazing for us. And then the 90 in both and all pretty much the defensive stats make this mon an absolute monster to take down. This mon is kind of like the better Ursa on the bulk, I would say, as it definitely could take a lot of hits. It can just take stuff like Manaphy Surfs and all this stuff if it wants to. It's a very nice mon, and I really like it, and yet again, the Terra really helps that with also just being a defensive mon. So that's why I went with Fairy as the last, as I could really see myself running a defensive TERRAKION still, because it does get rocks. So, but yeah, this mon could very well possibly not only be our team captain, but a kill leader on our team. This mon can very much just absolutely blow through every single team, especially if they don't bring a good fighting resist. Anyways, let's talk about our other mons and try to see what I tried to build around. However, this mon doesn't actually help TERRAKION build around, but however is a mon that also encourages just completely no switch-ins, and most importantly, is a mon that I am incredibly comfortable with, and is a mon that we've used in the CMM. I am talking about Urshifu Rapid Strike. Yep, we picked him up again. This time around, he was more expensive for obvious reasons. This mon's a monster, and I can't lie. Yes, this mon was a round 6 pick. I don't know how this is a round 6 pick, but I picked it up because why would I not pick up this monster? I'm not going to talk much about this mon, as I have used this mon I think 6 times already now. Recently, so there is a lot of draft analysis I've been talking about him and using him. But know that this mon is an absolute monster in draft, and also most importantly, the protective pads make this mon also really great in Gen 9. That buff is really good. The only bad thing really is that speed stat. That 97 beast stat really hurts. It forces them to run a lot of Scarf or Trailblaze sets, or just really wait until the speed bonds are dead, because yet again, base 100 is the really good threshold you want, so him being under that really hurts him. But that still doesn't stop the fact that water mons don't like taking this Surging Strike ability, or Surging Strike move. Which is really good for us. Yet again, water fighting stab is just so strong here, and this mon's coverage is great. Gets Trailblaze, it gets Ice Spinner, it gets Poison Jab, and it gets Iron Head. It also gets Aqua Jet Stab, which is nice with SD. If we ever get an SD up with this mon, I think it's game over. So this mon is really good, and it's just, like I said, really hard to actually check this mon. But most importantly, the mons that do check it are the same mons that will probably want to try to check TERRAKION. So that means if we can chip with Urshifu or just get rid of those checks for TERRAKION to win, Urshifu has done his job, and that's why I really liked this mon. The fact that it really encourages one of the two to go off. Either TERRAKION's going to help Urshifu go off, Urshifu's going to help TERRAKION go off. It's one of those really nice things that it really struggles for my opponent to deal with both of them. And yet again, yeah, there's fairy types, but I have a Golden Go, and they both get steel moves that like to one-shot these fairy types. So unless you're an Iron Valiant, you gotta go bye-bye, which is really nice for us. And another thing that's so nice is for us because one of my future mons is one of the best fairy types, I would say, in this format, in draft, and one of the best ways to check these fighting mons, which I picked up. So we don't even have to deal with that mon, which also makes these mons really good in the offensive. It just keeps getting better and better the more you see the team, not just because they have great cores and they work well with each other, but most importantly, I'm getting rid of their checks. A lot of the checks I just keep going away because we're picking them up, which is really nice. Like I said, I'm going to move to the next one, as there's just a bunch of knowledge on this mon. Also, just overall, as this mon was a really predominant mon in VGC, so. Next up is the mon I was just talking about, Serendipity. I absolutely love this mon, and you guys actually saw me recently win my league, or not my league, but I won my most recent league I was in with Serendipity. This mon's a monster. This mon is very strong. 99 speed's great, just overall. However, it gets boosted with that base 125 SPDEF. Hello? And then 88 base HP is really nice here. Yet again, that Roost Stall is really nice. Also, it gets Toxic, and Poison Fairy is such an amazing offensive typing. Not to mention that we could be a very, we can also be mixed, of course, which is nice. We could be some Heat Wave sets with Special Attack or Moonblast, or we could just be Play Rough, Poison Jab, Dual Wing Beat with Technician, Thief Technician, Quick Attack Technician. There's a lot of really cool sets we can run, but also we could just be a really, really annoying SPDEF wall with Roost, and also probably trying to get those Toxic chains off. And yet again, this Mon gets U-turn, so all the Mons that stand in front of Serendipity, we can simply just U-turn out and go into our big threats, which is really nice. But honestly, I don't want to say too much about this Mon, not only to spoil it, because I love this Mon and I love building kind of anything with this, but also if you guys watch my PCPL League, I kind of showed off that this Mon is a little too strong, with it actually being able to 6-0 multiple teams, so I'm very excited to see maybe if I could pull it back and do it again with him, but I don't know. Especially with this time of format where there's just so much power. But yeah, this Mon is very, very nice, and I'm very excited to use this again. Next up is good old Cyclozard, baby. I needed hazard removal, so let's grab probably the best ones outside the Dolphin line. I wanted Rapid Spin over Defog because if I want a hazard stack, then I don't want to defog my own hazards away, and also because if I could Rapid Spin my the opponent's hazards away, I could always stop the opponents with my Golden Go, so that's why I wanted to do that. But this Mon is really good. It gets Regenerator, which makes this probably makes it the reason why it's debatably the best hazard removal after the Dawn fans, as it pretty much has not really, there's no really good way to kill it. It has a great min-maxi stats. 501 stats are amazing, and that 121 speed stat is insane. A lot of people see this Mon ran Regenerator with U-turn, Knockoff, the mix sets with like Draco or something else. It gets Overheat, which is really nice. It also gets Dragon Tail, which is really nice for phasing out. And then also this Mon offensively, if we really want to run this offensively, because it is fast and it hits hard, especially with Dragon normal typing, we can run Shift Gear with this Mon, making this Mon pretty much impossible to check for the speed side, and you have to see if you can check it on the just taking a hit. But yes, this Mon is very, very nice. I haven't used much with this Mon yet. It always gets picked, of course, for obvious reasons. Very good. But yeah, it was around still, so I wanted to try it out again. I think this Mon's very good. There's times where it could definitely, sadly, be a little bit of a hindrance, as it could kind of help the opponent kind of get like more into position. However, I definitely think how I play, I can really encourage them to not, maybe go into it, but not really encourage them to get into that very good offensive position. So that's why I really like this Mon. And yet again, the fact that I could be an offensive set and throw my opponent off is really good here. I just really like this. And great coverage. But yes, the Regenerator is really, really nice. Regenerator is always nice. It's probably the best ability in draft. However, next up is good old Diancie. You guys have seen me use this Mon, I don't even know, probably 10 times, 11 times now. And I think every single time it's been a kill leader, and also has put in an enormous amount of work. I don't think I've ever had one season or league where it hadn't just completely done its job and then more. This Mon is amazing. This Mon is definitely, if you have any problems with team, just put it on really, because this Mon, look at these stats. 100 attack, 100 special attack, can be mixed. Diamond Storm +2 defense with body press. Rock Fairy is very nice on the offensive, and even on the defensive side with a decent amount of Mons in Gen 9 specifically. But also 150 defense in SPDEF. This Mon eats any hit if it wants to. It can even eat steel hits, which is 4 times weak 2. Sadly, no, it's not a TERA Mon. I would love for it to be a TERA Mon, but I can't TERA TERRAKION and Diancie. And like I said, I built around TERA TERRAKION, so I was not going to change any plans for a TERA Diancie. But yeah, the only bad stat is HP, which it doesn't really hurt when we just boost it up with EVs, so it's not that much of a problem. This Mon is definitely, I would probably say, the best fairy in draft, even better than Iron Valiant, as like I said, with experience, I've seen, not only I've seen more people do better with Diancie than Iron Val, but I have done significantly better with Diancie than Iron Val. This Mon is just, if you need to check something, you put it on the team. If you need to just being an offensive piece, you put it on the team. If you want to break, you put it on the team. If you want to hazard spam, which is the big reason also why I wanted it, it gets both rocks and spikes. Now we have a hazard spam user with Golden Go. So now we have the core of Rapid Spin to stop the user's hazards, but not ours. Golden Go to be the best hazard blocker and stop all the hazards going away on our side, or from their side. And then we have Diancie to spam rocks and spikes. And yet again, a very amazing one at that. Probably, definitely up there as one of the best ones, I would say. Just mainly because it's pretty much, like, almost unkillable. Even stuff like Bullet Punch Sizzle, I believe it could take if it's defensive investment. I believe I did a calc of that recently. So it is very, very, very hard to just one-shot this alone. So that's why it's just also a really good lead at times. This mon is a very, very versatile and very amazing mon. I definitely heavily recommend use this mon if you're new to draft. This mon's very, very strong. But yeah, I'm really excited to use this again, and now you can also see that my team's very comfort pixie. Because like I said, I don't really have a lot of new mons to use anymore. I'm kind of using all of them. However, I say that, but this next mon is a new mon for me in draft, which is Brute Bonnet. I have not used this mon yet. However, I always wanted to. I really like this mon. I think this mon, look at these stats. It's an amazing bulky mon. 111 HP base. Amazing already to start that. Even if it had like 70 defense and SPDF, it could still roll. But it has 99 in both. It could pretty much, just like Diancie, not as hard. It can't roll as hard as Diancie, but it can roll still incredibly hard. Especially since it gets Synthesis. It gets Synthesis and Leech Seed. Really annoying for my opponent. But another nice thing is that Spore's not banned in draft. So we can put opponent one mon to sleep with this, because we can't get Spore, which is just so incredibly massive for my TERRAKION and Urshifu Rapid. Both those mons can very much just completely sweep if we can just give it a Spore mon to sleep in front of and click an SD, and or any other move that it probably has. But not only why I like this mon, but this mon's offensive stat is amazing. Special attack, it's not even bad. 79 is not bad. It gets great special attack and moves for coverage sake. And then the attack stat is amazing. Base 127 is insane. This mon has Sucker Punch. This mon clicks Sucker Punch. This mon gets kill. That's pretty much all you have to think about this mon. This mon is very, very amazing at kind of just being a big nuisance, but also just like a good mon all around. Like, there's not really a bad thing about this, especially since it has Sucker Punch for that bad speed stat. It gets stuff like Stomping too, and I think it gets even Iron Head, which is, I guess it makes sense. I could see it. But it's just a mon that has great coverage to be offensive, but also defensive. And again, I love my defensive pieces that also hit hard. So that's something that I love in Gen 9. That's why I picked this up. But that doesn't stop this mon. I also gave this mon TERA. This is my other TERA captain in the league. We only have 2, and this is the other one. I gave it TERA Dark, Electric, and Fire. Yes, I know, very weird typings, and I'm going to explain them. Dark is just definitely the better one for the stab, and yet again, Sucker Punch by itself with that base 127 is going to hit hard. Very little switch-ins, very great for cleanup, and now TERA Dark makes this mon very great for cleanup, especially when we don't have TERRAKION on the team, or if TERRAKION's down and we didn't tear it because we just didn't like it at that time. But Fire is because this mon gets a lot of setup, and also gets, of course, Booster Energy. It can run Booster Energy attack, and pretty much two-shot anything it feels like. And of course, Burn is definitely the best way to stop this mon. And yet again, Burn, physical defensive walls, always get stopped by just being burned. Because yes, they can still wall, however, if they can't dish out damage, that's not great. But if I could just be TERA Fire, eat the fire hits that he's weak to, and bug hits that he's weak to, get a great offensive typing, and also a great typing to just overall be offensive with, it's really, really good here. And yet again, TERA Fire is not the greatest typing in this format, however, yet again, this mon is very bulky, so we could run 1v1 water and ground types, and with, of course, grass stab, and then just have this fire stab for pretty much the rest of the typings, which is really nice. And then Electric is because I really liked, if I am running that, I can make my opponent think of 50-50s with Earthquake, but also Electric is really good with this mon. With Electric, there's a lot of sets and a lot of weeks I've already checked that this mon can pretty much have perfect coverage and just hit everything super effectively, and it's pretty nice. And yet again, Flying is really annoying to this mon, as it's probably the most annoying. I mean, you could also say Poison, but he gets Stomping. But Flying could be really annoying, especially if you have that extra typing of, like, Of course, there's always flying. I mean, is it flying fairies? I might be lying to that with flying fairies. But there's always typings that Boopanet might not like for the just clicking the dark button for the flying type. So being able to just have that stab electric is nice. And yet again, electric is a really good defensive typing, only being weak to ground, and good offensive typing, especially in this type of format, I would say. But yeah, I think I'm excited to use this Mon, and I wish I had more to say about this Mon. I just simply haven't used it a lot, so I'm excited to use him. And yeah, I'm also excited to see if he actually could pull off some sweeps possibly, but I don't know. We'll see. Next up, I picked up a dupial little guy, Quagsire. I wanted another hazard user. Yet again, rocks and spikes. So amazing. I also believe this Mon gets toxic spikes, which is just so good. Hazard spam with Golden Go is just instantly an amazing core. This Mon could only do that. Even Mons that like Ariados, if it only does Sippy Webs, it has done its job, and Golden Go can do the rest. And that's why this Mon is so good. However, this Mon is just good. Of course, sadly, its base stat total definitely hinders this Mon heavily. It has an amazing ability with Unaware, and yet again, another amazing ability, Water Absorb, just really great. And it only has one weakness, which is Grass. And also, of course, the great immunity to Electric, which is nice. But a lot of resistance, and only weak to Grass is really nice, especially since we have a lot of Grass resist with stuff like Boopanet, Latios, Pheasantipity, and there's another one coming down the road. It's just very nice to have that, and it's just also a Mon that, yet again, Hazard Spam is just really good here, and he also gets Toxic, which is what I like. But yet again, Unaware is just a really good typing. If any ability, sorry. If any Mon tries to set up, we have Unaware. It completely ignores those setup moves, and we can either roar it out, Toxic it if we want to 1v1 it with Recover, or just even 1v1 it with like stuff like Earthquake. The only bad side is that special Mons do become a little scary with that base 65 Spit F stat. It can be a little scary to try to wall it. However, it can do its job very well at walling physical Mons, and it can wall most Spit F Mons. I want to say, maybe not most, a decent amount. Not a lot, but a decent amount, I would say so. There's of course always just going to be a lot of hindrance, and yet again, the 4x Grass weakness could also be a big downside, as a lot of Mons get Grass Knot in this generation. So he does have that weakness, but yet again, we have Mons to cover around that, and this guy can do a lot of good scenes here. And plus, how can you not love his dippy face? Look at him. He's just so happy. Yeah, I'm glad that I got another hazard user. However, we're coming to the end of the road with our final pick, Cacturn. And yes, I know this is a weird pick. Why Cacturn last? We already have a Grass Dark type. Doesn't really help with the weaknesses. And we have a Mon that's already pretty much the better version of this, as it has better stats all around in a way. Boopanet. However, there's one reason why I picked this, and I always like to do my deep dive into the draft docs of any draft doc I'm in. I'm trying to see if there's any steals. I'm trying to see if there's any cool themes I could build with. Trying to see any rules I can bend a little bit. And this Mon is 1 point. I think this was a hindsight I think this was like a missed theme on the people who are making the docs, because this Mon is usually like 6 points, 5-6 points. Sometimes even more with Terra, because Terra Dark with that base 115, both in special attack and attack stat, is monstrous. So it is a very good Mon here. But yet again, it has Water Absorb. So this Mon is really good. And sadly, I can't give it Terra, but if I could, I would. But I think Boopanet overall is a better Terra type Mon here, so that's why I didn't give it. But 1 point Cacturn I'm just going to take. You can't really stop me from taking a really good Mon. Yet again, Sucker Punch spam is really nice here. Water Absorb really makes my opponent have some troublesome matchups and stuff, like with my Ursaluna and such not. And then yet again, it could be a wall. It could be a wall with Strength Sap, Leech Seed. I believe it gets Strength Sap, Leech Seed, and all that stuff with that 70 HP. Grass is just nice. But yet again, just the Dark Stab, just the stab of its offensive pressure is very nice here. And I've already also done some calcs with this Mon, and in some future weeks, I've definitely seen that this Mon could actually go incredibly off. I also believe this Mon gets Nasty Plot. So this Mon could, yet again, just be a very Confusion physical or special Mon, or hell, even mixed if we want to run a Sucker Punch with like Nasty Plot variant to hit offensive. And then yet again have that priority because he is very slow. This mon is very nice, and this mon also gets spikes, which is another reason why I wanted it. 1 point spikes user, that's really good. Gladly take. We can't use the Sandville ability because evasion abilities are banned. For obvious reasons, it's always banned. So yeah, my opponent will always know it's Water Absorb, of course, but that really doesn't matter. It's still just like, hey, they gotta prep for Water Absorb. I don't think this mon could be like, you know, Urshifu broken or TERRAKION broken, or maybe even Bootbanet broken, of being able to get really strong and kind of out of hand if you don't really have your check around. But this mon could definitely put in a lot of work, and yet again, if this mon has a good matchup, this mon could really, really do well here. Especially since this just matchup with Grass Strike Stab is really annoying, and having 2 of it is really nice, as you can just let one go in, let it die, get the other one out. So that's really nice. But yeah, I'm just gonna end that there. Actually, I think that's how I'm gonna end the Cactus, because I also don't want to give a lot. I do have some stuff planned with this mon. I'm hoping this mon could put in some work, and I can actually use this mon in the league. But yeah, I couldn't pass up the 1 point Cactus. It's an absolute massive steal. Like I said, usually 6-5 points. Which yet again, it's not like the biggest steal in the world. It's not like Ursaluna being like 4 points or something crazy like that. But it's still a great steal nonetheless. Just something that like my opponent still has to prep for, so that's why. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this draft. I definitely like this team a lot. I really love the core of Ursaluna, Latios, Golden Go. I love those 3 so much in draft, and the fact that I get to use all 3 of them on one team, really exciting to me. We do have some weaknesses. We have some drawing weaknesses, especially with some matchups. Like certain matchups, we might just have a really, really bad weakness. However, I do think my team could very much deal with all of it with the crazy bulk I have, the crazy offensive I have. I always love my team that could be both offensive and defensive, so the fact that I can run both is very nice. And I also just really enjoy some of the mons I'm going to be able to use. Like Quagsire is new to me in draft specifically. I've used a bunch of it on the ladder though, and overall. Just in draft specifically, it's new to me, and same as Bootbanet. It's very new to me in draft, so I'm very excited to use those 2, and still being able to use some of the lower mons that I haven't get to use yet. But yeah, it's going to also be really exciting to use stuff like Urshifu and give him his redemption arc from last season, because he did put in a lot of work last season, so let's see if we can put it again. And yeah, I think we're just going to end it right there and not make this video any longer. I do just want to say before we go though, I apologize for the non-very edited draft analysis. I know last season was very edited, and it will go back to that next week. It's a very long story, but my PC is broken. My PC broke. It got like it's something inside the theme broke inside, and I basically don't have my PC right now. However, it should be fixed by the end of this week, which means when you guys see the next match, which will be week 1 against our great nemesis who critical hit triple Hydro Pump us. I'm just gonna bring that up every single time I say his name, by the way. You guys should have an edited version. So just this time around, you guys have to bear with me just for this week and see not a super edited video. So I apologize for that. I don't really like to just give like super unedited videos, especially if it's drafts I enjoy a lot and I want to put in a lot of work in it. But yeah, I still hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. And I'll see you guys in the first week, which like I said, we'll be fighting Who. And let's see if we can actually get a comeback this time around and see if we can go 1 versus 1 against him in the matchup points. I'll see you guys then. Later!